And for this trip, we're staying at the top of the cliff at the Torrey Pines Hilton, which overlooks the world-famous Torrey Pines Golf Course. The view from the top of the cliff is incredible, and the two properties up there are the Torrey Pines Lodge and the Torrey Pines Hilton, and they're both beautifully landscaped with birds of paradise and succulents and all sorts of beautiful blooming flowers and soft foliage that loves the mist coming off of the ocean every morning. And since we can't grow those things or enjoy them in the desert, it's so nice to be here, and it's such an incredible plant palette that people are able to landscape with. So from the rooms of the Torrey Pines Hilton, you get an incredible view of the ocean over the fairways. And my favorite is the view very first thing in the morning when the sun is rising on the east, illuminating the palm trees, and then finally the ocean wakes up and bursts to life as the sun makes its way over the cliffs onto the ocean. So that's a beautiful way to start the day. It's so serene. And I've been wanting for many years to check out the Torrey Pines Golf Course, and it is even more beautiful in person than I expected. So it's really, really worth it if you are a golf lover. The Torrey Pines Golf Course is public. It's owned by the city of San Diego, and it's consistently ranked one of the top 2 or 3 public golf courses in California, following behind, you guessed it, Pebble Beach. So it's like San Diego's version of Pebble, and it is so incredibly beautiful. Even if you don't play golf, it's a great place to come for a sundowner, and you believe me, you will have the king of all sunset views up there on the top of the cliff. Opened in 1957, it was built on the site of Camp Callan, a U.S. Army installation used in World War II. Torrey Pines has 2 golf courses, north and south, designed by William Francis Bell. This is a must visit for golf lovers, and tee times are available up to 90 days in advance. The lodge at Torrey Pines is a whimsical and charming AAA 5-diamond rated ultra luxurious resort up on the top of Torrey Pines, right on the Torrey Pines Golf Course. It was built in a craftsman style reminiscent of Frank Lloyd Wright. It was originally built in 1961, and after being almost completely demolished and renovated, it was reopened in its current sumptuous iteration in 2002. The sun is behind the coastal inversion, so let's check out the Torrey Pines Preserve. This is a beautiful network of trails at the top of the cliff, but there's an incredible view of the ocean and the entire La Jolla Peninsula. It's another beautiful day here on our 3rd day, and I think this may be the most beautiful day yet. The marine layer has burned off, and the amazing panorama of golden cliffs, blue sky, and ocean is unveiled. As we ever so carefully make our way down the cliffs, every new level is an even more beautiful panorama of blue sky, teal ocean, and golden sand and cliffs. The tide is out, and a wide, flat beach awaits us. The water has been so refreshing, just a degree or 2 below the temperature of the air, and the salinity has been just perfect and so soothing. As beautiful as the water looks and feels, besides the riptides, your biggest danger are the stingrays. There are sharks on the beach, and although they're often seen swimming off the coast here, but it's very unlikely that you'll interface with them while swimming. The stingrays are a much more likely danger, and this year they've been more prevalent than ever, not only along the entire San Diego coast, but this beach in particular. It's critical to know how to avoid them and how to spot them in order to enjoy the water safely. Getting stung or even grazed by a stingray's stinger is incredibly painful, requires medical intervention, can cause you to be sick for over 2 weeks afterwards, and worst of all, will cause you to have an incredibly painful, miserable walk up the cliff with your stingray bite. You want to do everything in your power to avoid being stung by a stingray. First and foremost, learn the stingray shuffle. Shuffle your feet along the bottom of the sand until you're about mid-thigh or waist deep into the water. The vibrations you're creating by shuffling let the stingray know that you're there and allow them to be able to avoid you. The stingray does not want to come near you, and by shuffling, you're less likely compared to walking or stomping into the water. You're less likely to step on the stingray, and of course, if the stingray is stepped on, it's going to defend itself by stinging you. Secondly, don't linger at the water's edge. Shuffle your way right in. So the water's edge is where they like to come in and hunt for food. They love the flat beach, and they especially like it when the water is coming in from low to high, because the minnows and the plankton and the small fish are swept into the shore by the tide. So that's the time to avoid the water, and the best time to go in the water, conversely, is when it's going from high to low. Most of the time, the water is very clear here, so you can actually see the stingrays in the water. So look down at your feet while you're getting in and out of the water. So far, I've been lucky on this visit. I've swam and body surfed every single day without being swept out by a riptide or stung by a stingray. Knock wood. This has been just an incredible visit, and I am so glad to have so much time in the Pacific Ocean in the salt water. Now this is what I call a golden hour. Wispy clouds, reflections on the wet sand, fiery red sunset, and the glistening metallic waves combine to create an ocean sunset panorama for the ages. And here we are, once again, with the perfect front row seat for the most distinctive of all coastal San Diego experiences, and that is the fiery red sunset on the Pacific Ocean. I guess nature chose to save the best for last on this trip. This sunset is truly incredible. One of the most beautiful sunsets I've seen amongst hundreds here on the Pacific. When you start to see that thin veil of coastal inversion and the wispy, feathery clouds, that's typically a sign that you're in for an incredibly beautiful, colorful, amazing sunset. I have a feeling this one is going to be worth hiking up the cliff with a headlamp in the dark. So let's just stay here and take this incredibly dazzling display in. I love the feeling of just being humbled by and in awe of nature's beauty like this. It just makes you feel so small and insignificant, and yet part of something so much bigger and greater than yourself at the same time. This has been a wonderful trip, experiencing both my old favorite and new places. I love living in SoCal and San Diego County because after a decade of living here, I am still having new experiences and that wonderful feeling of discovery over and over again. Especially as San Diego County continues to grow, develop, and change. Going to a place you haven't been to for 10 years or so, you are likely to have an entirely brand new experience today. I always hate to leave here. My love for this place is so strong. But before long, the coastal inversion will return and won't leave. The days will become short and cool here, and the warm desert sunshine will beckon. The sun lowers and the afterglow reaches across the entire horizon. Nature's hand is painting everything with the most beautiful gem tones. And we're back in nature's jewelry vault. Tonight, the reflections on the flat, wet sand are even more beautiful than the sky itself. When I see a sunset like this, I wish it would never end. Rather, it would go on forever, and we would stay in this moment. But this sunset is a perfect reminder of the fleeting, ephemeral nature of life itself, which will one day as well, for each of us, descend below the horizon. And like sand through parted fingers, our time here has come to an end in this beautiful place. This is it, the last moment before the sun drops below the horizon. What an incredible sunset display this has been tonight. It's been an incredible day here on the coast in Torrey Pines in La Jolla, California, and I am so glad that we were able to explore and experience my favorite beach together. What an incredible visit to La Jolla this has been, and I'm so grateful that we were able to do this together to get to my favorite place on the West Coast, the gem of the North County San Diego coastline. And it's been such an incredible relief from the sweltering summer heat. So if you enjoyed this video and you watched all the way to the very end, thank you so much. There's another video that I think you'll really enjoy, a great refreshing break from the sweltering heat of wherever you are. Desert Wildflowers 2024. We had an amazing display of wildflowers in the desert this last year, and we captured them from start to finish. So join me on an incredible journey from the wet winter of the desert to the hot summer and all of the incredible waves and displays of different varieties of wildflowers. So please enjoy Desert Wildflowers 2024. Thank you again for joining me in the gem of the North County San Diego coastline. Where else but La Jolla, California.